Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're planning to move somewhere, especially Southeast Asia, if you are a Westerner or European, and you just meet someone from this country that happens to be from the Southeast Asia, and you've been thinking to yourself that you want to leave your country and live to the paradise place you think it is, well, these things that I'm going to show and share with you. So stick around, and I will be talking about things that you should be prepared if you are moving to Southeast Asia. So the number one that you have to be prepared is the weather. I understand that if you are from Western world or from Europe country, there is 4 seasons. So you have winter, you have summer, you have autumn, and you have spring. I think the most season that's my favorite is autumn because it's not hot, it's not cold, and the leaves is really pretty. Okay, so yes, the weather is only I don't know if it's correct to say that in Southeast Asia you only have one weather. So before we still have summer, and now we only have, it is mixed with summer. I mean it is mixed with sun and rain. That is all what you get if you are living in a Southeast Asia. So meaning Southeast Asia, Cambodia, Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, all that, and Philippines. So we only have that weather. One, it's rain, and when it's rain, sometimes it could rain for days, a few days, 5 days sometimes. In the place where I was, it rains sometimes that, and it's heavy. Although we do not have flooding in my area because it's very far. I was living in Palawan, which is it's known for famous beaches and no typhoon there because we are surrounded by islands. So weather, you have to be prepared that it's only mix of sun and rain. That's all. So the second one that you have to be prepared is the culture of wherever you're going. I'm not so familiar with the other Southeast Asian, but I'm just gonna talk to the culture where I came from. Okay. So the number one culture that part of my culture is the people there, they are not always on time. Okay. If you talk to them, for example, you tell someone that for example, you have a meeting with someone and you say, okay, let's meet at sharp 9 o'clock. So in your time, it is sharp 9 o'clock because you are on time. You're a Westerner or you are European, and you should always be on time, I guess. And there you sat there before 3 minutes to 9 before 9. You are there on that place already. In the person that you are talking to will not arrive until maybe 30 minutes later. So, and because they said, it's better late than never. If you are in the Philippines, you do not expect to be on time. I know it can be frustrating sometimes, especially if you're going to have a program, like for me, when I was there, and they said it will start at such an hour, and then 1 hour passed, sometimes it doesn't start. So now if you are impatient, you will be upset. But that's a part of the culture there. Sometimes that's also the reason why some foreigners leave the country, because at first they do not research what is the culture of the people. And when they arrive at the place, they would try to change the culture of the people. But it will not happen. Those people They live like that all their lives, and you can't do anything about it unless you meet someone that is willing or that is uh, thinking to change that habit. Because I think it's just a habit, being late. You meet someone there, you can change one person. But yes, that is a part of the culture. But there are a lot of good things when it comes to Filipino culture. I'm sure there's a lot of them. Is one of the toxic, I could say toxic behavior or culture of the people. Other one is when they see you, like they haven't seen you for a few years or few months, they will tell you, instead of saying, "Hey, how are you? I haven't seen you for a while." No, they won't say that. They will say, "Oh, you gain weight. You look fat." I was Don't be surprised because it happens. And if you're not ready for that, you have to consider your thoughts of leaving your country, because in your country you don't care. The next one is you have to be mindful with your surroundings, because in that country, in the Philippines, excuse me, specifically in the Philippines, if you're not living in the very, very high-end surroundings like subdivision and all that, you have to expect noise coming from your neighborhood. Sometimes drinking, people are partying heavy all night, they're singing in the morning, you're still waking up and you still want to sleep longer, and they're singing already their favorite karaoke song. And that's one of your surrounding that you have to deal with. Or the chickens crow. Okay, so they have more chicken, plenty of chicken, and they have dogs that barks, and constantly it does not stop. And in your head you're thinking you're going crazy. So, and you lose it. So you go coco. So that's one of other things that you have to consider, and that is number 3, that you have to consider your surroundings, where you live, it is safe. Well, in my country, surroundings are pretty safe. I mean, when it comes to crime, not a lot of crime rate. But with the noise, yes, it is noisy. And the number 4 that I'm going to give you is patience. You have to have this patience in you if you're planning to live in a third world country. Why do I say you have to have patience? Well, you have to have patience in everything there. For if you are this kind of person that you want to be go, 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 that doesn't happen there. You have to be patiently waiting there all the time. The traffic, well, if you live in the province, not a lot of traffic. But if you plan to live in surrounding Manila, you have to expect traffic. And sometimes it's hours because of the heavy traffic. You don't have patience, you will lose your head, your hair. Have that kind of patience that requires for you to live there. But if you go to remote provinces, it's not a lot of traffic. You can expect, lowly life. I mean, um, very quiet vibes. Province are more friendly compared to maybe in the big cities. So they are more talkative in the province compared to Manila. And in the place where I came from, it is Palawan. I am 1 hour to the famous El Nido, if you guys are familiar. So that's where I used to live. And so patience, because not all the time you will have electricity. There's a lot of brownouts and blackouts there. So if you don't have patience, if you are this type of person that can't sleep without AC, feeling comfortable, well, it's normal to be comfortable while you're sleeping. But if you're that kind of person that always want to have that comfort when you go to sleep, well, you have to prepare yourself, because not all the time you will have an electricity there. The next one is water. You have to be patient because water there is not all the time as well. And especially in Manila. If you live in Manila, man, I don't have to tell you, but they always have a water shortage there. Especially on summer, yes, they have a water shortage. The country, we always have a water shortage. Now, if you are smart enough, you can have a deep well, and you will be free from water system. I mean, you will not be relying on them too much because you have your own. And the second one, own electricity, like you can have solar, because we always have sun there, so solar is required. Also, that's one of the options you can have, but you have to have a lot of solar to power your AC. And the next one is your comfort zone. People there, yes, most of the people there speaks English, but not all of them. Okay? So you have to find someone if you are planning to live there and you're alone, and you have to find someone who speaks the language, to rely on them, to rely on them what you want, and almost everything, because sometimes people doesn't speak English. Although they understand, they say hello, but yes, some people understand English, some of them doesn't at all. So you have to prepare yourself for that. Although if you plan to leave your country and leave this place, so you also have to have some pros. So I think those things that are cons and these are pros. Okay. Um, if you're European, your currency is, your currency has more value there, because mistake in your currency, well, your 1 euro here is 60 peso there if you try to convert it. So 60 peso you can buy little things there. I mean, that's 1 euro. Here in Paris, you can only buy a bread, will cost you 1 euro or more than. So yes, and bread in the Philippines can be cheap. So that is also one of pros. And also the cost of living there is not that expensive. For example, your electricity may not be that expensive as here in Europe or in anywhere in countries. So you can buy more things there because you have money has more value. But you also have to be prepared for the previous one I told you, if you are planning to move out your country. And food and shelter is also cheap, a little bit cheaper in comparison here. If you plan to live in a city like Manila, your $500 is good. You can have a decent apartment already. So $500 is like 20k converting. If you convert it to peso, it's like 20k. So if it's 500 euro, it will make it, I think it's 23,000 or 20 plus. So, and if you live in the province, like in my province, 15,000 is really nice already. It's like you can have most of the things you need and you can live comfortably. So those apartment that I've been to there is They have their own electric source in water, so you'll be off grid already. Your clothing there also is will change, because then you can save some. You have, as I mentioned, there is not much season there, so you just have to buy your regular clothes like for summer, and that's all. You don't have to buy heavy clothes and wear heavy boots because it's cold. So that's the only thing you have to be prepared. So you also have to be prepared mentally, because if you're not, you might get crazy, or you might turn into something. And some people there can adjust pretty well, and some doesn't, and they just go back to their own country because they cannot handle everything that I mentioned. But if you are ready mentally and of course emotionally, with all the things that you will be changing when you go out from your own comfort zone. I mean, your country is your comfort zone, then you will be okay. And that's a guarantee, because usually in those countries the people are friendly, but you just have to abide by their rules with the law of the country, and you will be okay. Because some there we have a good laws, but most of them are not being followed. So that's my advice to all of you that wants to go out and live in Southeast Asia.